All right, everybody, here we are with part 2 of the bumper install. Now, in the last video, we went and assembled the bumper, and the process was actually super easy. So in this video, we're gonna go ahead and take a dive into the wiring of the light pods and the light bar. Now, I know some of you aren't able to go out and get the correct tools and the wire connectors that we might need, and some of us only have the little twisty wire caps. Now, I am anti-twisty wire cap, but unfortunately, I know that's something most of us have. So I'll go ahead and run you through a couple different ways to hook these up. But most of this video is actually gonna be following me, the way that I'm gonna choose to do it in like a plug and play system. So I'm gonna be doing a lot of that in the way that I do mine. But first, I'll run through a couple easy ways that anybody can go ahead and do this, because it's not necessary to take these into a shop. All of this stuff can be done at home, super easy, super simple. So let's go ahead and take a dive into a couple different options that we have to get these hooked up. And then we'll start on following me and get through my process. All right, so let's go ahead and run through this real quick. Now, you've got a lead coming out of each one of your lights. You would never run them like this. I mean, I guess unless you drove a squatted truck, you couldn't find a reason that this would be realistic. So what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wire these pods together to themselves first. Then we'll run a wire to connect them to make them one lead going into your engine bay. Now, take the red and the red here, the black and the black, do the same on the other side. Then what you're gonna do is you're gonna get your cord of whatever length you need. Then you're gonna do the red to the red, the black to the black. Even though I'm anti-twisty cap, this is where you would put your twisty caps on. Now you've got one single lead coming from this light. You would have the same on the other side, and you bring those two together. Now, you get another lead, and you bring that to your truck, so you've got one wire that runs these 4 pods. When you do this light bar, you would do the same thing. Go get your wire. You would go ahead and twist the cap right here. You would run this to your engine bay. You would have another switch and another relay to run this by itself. That way you've got 2 switches, one that runs the light bar, one that runs all 4. The other way that you could do it is the way that I'm gonna end up wiring them together. One switch will turn the inside on, one switch will turn the outside on, one switch will turn this on. Now, if you don't have a fuse box like I have from Auxbeam, you're gonna end up having to get a wire harness for each one of your leads. Now, with the wiring harness you can get on Amazon, it comes with a switch, the wire harness, and a relay all attached. Makes the process super simple. Go ahead and hook it to your battery. So now that we got a quick walk through on the easy setup, we're gonna go and get to the process that I'm gonna be doing and start to get all these light pods and light bars hooked up. All right, so before I get started, I'm gonna go ahead and state the obvious. I'm not a professional, as you can tell by my description. This video isn't directed at professionals either. It's actually directed at the people who are just like me, the average everyday person, just trying to do this process at home instead of paying an ungodly amount of money to go and have it done at a shop. It's not necessary. You can do this in your garage, in your driveway. Doesn't matter where you're at, it can be done. So let's go ahead and take a look at how I'm gonna hook mine up, and let's get these lights plugged in. I want my outside pods to run together, and I want my inside pods to run together. I'm gonna run my wires, and most of my plugs will be over there, so it's all super simple. So now go ahead and get your wire. All right, now when cutting wire, make sure you always cut more than enough. That way you don't gotta do it twice. So. Okay, so there's your hot and ground for one light pod. Your hot and ground, the other light pod. All right, so the next part we're gonna do, I like waterproof. We're gonna go ahead and heat shrink these once we get the connectors on. There's a couple different types of heat shrink. Now this is standard heat shrink with no liner. Waterproof, marine grade, because we will be outdoors, so it's just that much security. Now these are actually lined with an adhesive, so when it gets hot, it's got a gel that keeps it watertight. If you can, grab some of these. These are super cheap. These are the types of connections we'll be using. Also, it's got solder in the center. The heat gun runs these, you'll be good afterwards. No crimping needed. Got a watertight seal. All right, so now we'll go ahead and put on our heat shrink. Do the black first, and do the red one. All right, so we got these two wired out. Light pod's done. So what I got here is some automotive wiring harness loom. And this will basically, we're gonna go and wrap this up to keep it nice and tidy looking, and then we'll run over to the next light pods. Super time consuming, but it'll look good when we're done. All right, so there's one. All we've done is we've extended our lead. Next up, we start on this one. So there we are with the second harness ran with the wire loom. We'll run it through the holes. So we've got all the light pods done, and we've got their leads extended. Same with the light bar and those other two. So now what we're gonna do next, as I said before, I like plug and play. Now these are waterproof, marine grade clips that we're gonna run these to make this an easy plug and play system. This will actually go from the engine bay to here to run the lights. So those are the male pieces. Then I'm gonna take both of the female pieces off of the main lead. And then what I'll be able to do from there, in case I have any future problems with any individual light pod, I'll be able to unplug it and I can replace it, plug in a new one. And now this one main lead, which goes to the engine bay, will run 2 light pods. Let's go ahead and get to connecting these, and you guys will get to see the process. Now we'll go and we'll slide this other heat shrink. So we got the one clip done. Let's go ahead and work on the second one. So we're gonna preload a big heat shrink. So that way we can come over the clip and everything when we're done to give it a nice seal. Then you'll put your black heat shrink over the small wire, your red heat shrink, the red one. Now when I put these in, I like to run these in together. I don't twist them first. I like to keep them to where the wire's a little bit spread out. And then that way, I can push them together. So there it is. We got these two done. Now we're gonna use some wire loom. And then we're gonna pull the black one we preloaded up and over. We're gonna load it up here. And there it is. Both clips for these. We'll do the same for the other ones. So now this is the light bar. We'll see if we can get you guys an up close and personal look. First, don't forget to grab a big heat shrink, throw it over your wires and down the lead. We will be using that later. All right, and then for your connection pieces, get your red heat shrink and then get your black heat shrink. And now what I've done is I've also made sure I've given myself enough room to keep the heat shrink covered with my hand so it does not get shrunk when I'm doing this piece up here. And if you're using these solder pieces, these connection pieces, make sure you see the solder bleed into the wire before you move on. A lot of the times, if you don't heat it up enough, your connection won't be that great. And I can show you guys here actually. So what I like to do is I like to get these, press them together. So all of the wires are interlocked. And then the connection piece right over the center there. And the heat shrink it in place. And because accidents do happen, now somehow, I don't know if you can see, but right here, there's some wires sticking out. Now that is the reason why we go the extra mile and do extra heat shrink. Because once putting this over, the wire will no longer be able to be exposed like that. After that, we triple up on the safety and we'll wrap it with the wire loom. So go ahead and get these shrunk and we'll move on. So next, before we run that extra piece of heat shrink we preloaded, I'm gonna move that down the line first. Throw that up past this point, and then get your wire loom and start wrapping. Once you get past this point, we'll slide down, continue, and we'll heat that up. Okay, now this piece that we slid up here, you'll now use to seal that in. Now that you're completed in, you got your male piece directly to the light, and then from the lead that goes to your harness, this will just click right in. So now that I got these done, this is our full harness for the single light. Each of these are also done. I'm gonna go and do the other two, and then I'll come back and then we'll get ready for the main leads that go to the truck. Okay, so we've gotten our harnesses done. I went ahead and labeled, you can see on the outside pods, they've got little pieces of red tape just to keep everything color coded. Same with the inside pods, they're white. So when I did this harness at the end, just to make it easy, I did those ones white, these ones red, and the single one for the light bar has no color. So when they're in here, you should be able to find the cord that you need pretty easy. If I was to lay this out, say these were coming from the truck, you would go ahead and you would take your lead that goes to the truck battery, you plug that one in, and that's done. Now you take these double harnesses, these ones for the white, plug it in. These other ones come from over there, your red one and your white one, plug that one in. Then your red one from on that side, and your red one from this side. I'm gonna run all of them right in here. So then the mess will be contained, it'll be neat. And then all I have is 3 wires coming out into the engine bay. And then the last step would be to get the bumper mounted to the pickup truck. So let's go ahead and finish up with getting this ready to get installed. Okay, so this is how I tucked all my wires. Now go ahead and route your leads, whichever way works best for you. I've already done mine, so now what we're gonna do, since we've got our easy plug and play, we'll go ahead and start with our whites. Plug those in. Then we've got our black. We'll plug that in. Then you've got your red. We'll plug those in. Now I'll secure these a little better in the future, but for demonstration purposes, we'll go and tuck these in. Now we'll go take a look up top and see what we got going on up there. All right, now this is the fuse block that I've got, making it easy to remove all the relays from your system if you've got one already. And if you don't, go ahead and start out with this to be able to make everything super easy. Now what I've done here is I put these little connectors on the end of my wire, making it really easy to install and uninstall without having your wires go everywhere. Now this is what these are. They come with your crimper and they come with all of your pieces, a bunch of different sizes. I use the black because I'm using 16 gauge, but you'll want to put these on and then you'll want to slide heat shrink over them. Anyways, then what you'll do from here is you'll put each one of these in. And it's as simple as that. Now our lights are ready to power on. Now is the moment of truth. Let's see if our switches work. Number 1 should be the light bar. Number 2 should be the outside lights, which would be the red. Number 3 should be the inside lights. All right, you guys, well, that wraps it up for the wiring process. We went and got our light pods and the light bar all hooked up with a plug and play type system. Everything here you're gonna be able to do in your driveway or in the garage. You will not need to send your vehicle to a shop to get any of the wiring done. As you can see, most of this was all pretty simple. I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this video. Don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe if you don't already. Now, if this video helped you out, save it to one of your favorites. And if you know somebody else going through the same process, send this video to them because that helps this channel out a lot. In the next video, I'm gonna be showing you guys how to mount the bumper. Now, if you have an older 2nd gen like mine, you're gonna need to do a little modifying to the mounting bracket in order to get it mounted up there. I'll show you guys how to do that in the next video, so stick around for that one. We going country to rap to R&B, baby, bring that big old butt over. Cause he do it all, baby, from begging to welding, raising 6 kids and making his girl feel like she's Helen of Troy. Yeah, he do it all, baby, yeah, he been through hell and he went from addiction to the kitchen, but no, he ain't telling us so. No, he ain't telling us so. Cause that's how legends are born. And if you know, you know, you can take a picture if you want, and then you best get gone.